I guess it's I don't know. I guess I was already give you guys an anime. Excuse me, not anime. Well, actually, anime review. Basically, a movie review, which is basically called Gundam Seed Freedom, which is basically the movie, which is basically I believe is the first movie based off their Gundam Seed franchise movie. I think so. I'm not really 100% sure. So I really personally really do not know. So yeah, so what is this movie basically all about? Well, this movie basically kind of takes place after Gundam Seed Destiny. Gundam Seed was the basically was the first production of the first series of the Seed series. If you guys don't know, the main protagonist based in Gundam Seed was known as basically as Kira Yamato. Kira Yamato basically is the main protagonist, and personally that his friend was basically kind of the main antagonist, which he really personally that he really wasn't or anything like that, because it was a story. Actually, it was basically a story just basically between two friends became betrayal based on one another, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And if you guys don't know who is Kara's other friend, known as Afron Zala. Afron Zala is basically kind of like a basically kind of like the opposite to Kira, because but basically they're both friends, but then they become frenemies. But then, like, pretty much when it came to the mid of the series, then they become friends again, and then the same thing happens in Destiny. They become friends again, and basically stuff like that, and basically stuff. To be honest with you, I happen to like both characters really actually a lot. I definitely do. I definitely do think so, because both characters are different, are unique, and basically are different, basically of different perspectives. Because what I personally I view basically what it feels to me, and when I see both of these characters, both of these characters are basically they are a lot more different. But when it comes to Gundam Seed Destiny, kind of Gundam Seed Destiny is basically in a way introduced based off new characters: Ray Azrael, Shin Asuka, Little Mario Heart. Excuse me, not Little Mario Heart. Little Mario Hawk, Marin Hawk, Captain Gladys, and also Arthur also as well too, and Ray Azrael. I think I did say his name, and also Chairman Durano also as well too, and also basically also as well too. If you guys look back in the Gundam Seed Destiny in the series, Kara pretty much had a hard time. I had a hard time believing what is true and believing what is not true, because Kara could not. Not Kara. Excuse me, Shin. That's what I was trying to say. Forgive me for what I said right there. Shin is basically is a character that he has a hard time trying to believe what he believes in, believes what is true and basically what is not true. If you understand what basically what Afro really says, like, Shin has a hard time seeing through past the words to him. It's kind of like a brick wall that where he doesn't really doesn't want to see what other people are basically seeing. But in a way, Shin does believe in a common sense that he does believe, and what does Kira believes in, and what does Afrin also believe in also as well too. Well, also as well too, because excuse me, not Kira's own Shin was driven by a purpose of basically of revenge. Revenge. That's what he's basically driven by, and that's what he's basically driven on. His main goal is basically to destroy the freedom. That's basically his main goal. But even though he basically did that back in Gundam Seed Destiny, because it was proven that he really actually did. But did he kill Kira? No, not necessarily, because he personally that he really didn't, because that he person that he really basically didn't. To be honest with the Destiny is basically it's a particular different model that compared to the freedom really actually is and stuff like that. But when it comes to the basis of the freedom, the strike freedom is pretty much a base of a very strong moment. So, but it can compare to basically the Destiny and to other different kind of modules based out there is based out there. To give a good observation based on who Shin really actually is. Shin is basically it's just basically a kid who basically he was I guess you probably would say basically in a publication, basically orphan, basically that his family was destroyed by the basically of the forces of the Earth forces. But however, according to Shin, his family was destroyed by known as Kira Yamato, or I would say the freedom personally basically from there now because he pretty much blamed the freedom because also killing Stella also well too because Kira didn't really have not really did not have really much of a choice to basically take down Stella because Stella was basically was controlled and brainwashed into a mobile suit, basically into a mobile suit that she couldn't control her emotions because she was just basically a clone. Even though that she was basically particular that she really was a human, but she's basically much more than to it than a lot of people don't even know. Stella is personally, she's one of my favorites in basically in Gundam Seed Destiny. I hate to see her die. I hate to see her go. But I knew that was a very good implication that she was definitely was going to die because that's definitely was a very good implication. But I didn't think that Kira would try to kill her because I don't think Kira was not really trying to kill her. I think that he was just trying to stop the mobile suit destroying most of the cities. If you guys don't know, the mobile suit was basically called Destroy, or I will say AKA Gundam's Destroy. Gundam's Destroy is like big, huge monster mobile suit. It's kind of like a mobile suit that came from hell, and it's very destructive and destroys pretty much all different kinds of things all around. I mean, talk about cities and stuff like that. It can annihilate pretty much anything almost in its path, and it's a very powerful move suit. But even in particular, other different move suits can pretty much can take them down without ease and basically what they can really personally they can do. The freedom can do it. The justice can do it. Destiny can do it. That's a really person to get basically do it. I want to start how basically talking about basically with this movie. Like I said, Destiny kind of takes after as the movie kind of takes after Destiny. If you guys don't know what happened to Destiny, if you guys don't know what happened to Destiny, the Messiah was destroyed, and the people that basically was the Messiah, known as basically as Chairman Durando. If you guys don't know who Chairman Durando is basically that he's basically is the chairman of ZAF, which means he's the president or basically you probably would say the CEO basically of ZAF. His goal was basically the purpose to basically control to basically the minds of people and creating a new universe, or I would say creating a new species of new human beings to basically mix genes to other different genes because not just based just humans, but not just based of humans, not just based of naturals, not just based of coordinators, to combine those genes into something more more a kryptonita of a newborn species of newborn species. But why create a newborn species? Why create something much more different? Because even the chairman basically applied, basically he said that we have to go to war within ourselves. We have to strike down the enemy based in ourselves. He does make a very good point based on what he says right there, because he does make a very good point. But why would he basically say that? Because he is pretty much that's what he definitely did. That's what he definitely thinks. That's the implication because what he personally that he wants to propose the destiny plan and to force everyone to really to do this because this is the world domination, or I would say the NWO, or I would say the New World Order reference what the Bible pretty much basically talks about. because this is what he ultimately that he really definitely wants. Not only because of that, he wants to create a utopia to basically to make the world perfect in his own image. That's what he personally that he really wants to do. But why would he want to do this? Why would he want to just risk everything and say like and say like he's gonna put all his chips in, every single of his chips in, and say this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I want to do, and this is what I need to do, and this is what I have to do. So basically, it's kind of like playing a poker game. It's kind of like basically kind of like saying like, yeah, I'm gonna go all in. This is my plan. But the question is, it becomes between 50-50. Either that you have a good chance of winning, or either that you don't have a good chance of winning. So he played a very big gambling risk, basically that he really definitely did. But there's other key players basically out there on the field when he had Ray and also Shen also basically on the field, which basically Ray piloted the Legend, which is basically the Gundam Legend, and Shen piloted basically the Destiny. Because particularly to be honest with you, Shin was personally to me, in my own opinion, he is pretty much the main player to basically to bring forth the chairman's plan of the utopia for him, because Shin is basically is the pilot of destiny, because he is the one that can make destiny happen. That's basically what the chairman wants to do. Why would the chairman want to use him? Because Alfred says, Shem, hey, you have to understand, the chairman's using you. That's what the chairman's doing. But Shin didn't want to listen, but then Shin trying to find his own words to really to understand what can he really possibly he really can do, really what he really person that he really can do. Sometimes it's hard to find the truth to sometimes it's hard to find that truth. Sometimes it's hard to understand to know what is real, what is not real, or what is not real, or what is real. It's kind of like saying like God exists or maybe God doesn't exist, etc., etc., etc. But when it comes to basically this movie, it does show those flashbacks of the replication of war, the replication of how mankind continues to basically to kill each other, to basically have greed, power, money, victory, all this other different kind of stuff and stuff like that. And because war is basically it's definitely it's going to happen. It's kind of like something like with Locke's really as it says, this chain effect just keeps on continuing and continuing. Guess what? There's no breaking the chain. How can we break the chain of cycle? The cycle is still going to continue. We're still seeing war as we are seeing it basically right now. The war in basically probably say Israel and Palestine, and also Ukraine and Russia as well too. They're going to continue fighting each other no matter what. A million year war probably between Israel and the Palestinians. They've been going at each other for a long time. It's no joke. It's no theory to really say that they have been going on for really actually a long time, because that's what they have been doing. That's what they basically doing. They both have a hatred between each other because they just cannot get along. One day, one person will come to basically in the middle of this world, and basically will declare basically peace on earth, which means a utopia. I mean a utopia, and that's basically zoning basically what he wants. If you think about it, think about what the chairman really actually says. That's what he wants. He wants to create a utopia. That's what he wants to do. He wants to create the world in his own image, to basically make people to be perfect, to be equal, to be the same. Not anybody just to be different. That's not what he really wants. He wants to create the world at his own image. That's what he really wants to do. But if anyone tries to get in his way at his world domination, world domination, he will do whatever it takes to eliminate them, and that's what they will do. That's what they did. Definitely, what person would do. Reason why? For one, he uses Shin. For two, he uses Ray. For three, Little Maya is also a great example. Captain Glass is also a great example, also as well too, because they all serve under the power of Chairman Drano. Not only under the power of Chairman Drano, but also under the power of Zaf, also as well too. Also well too, because Orr didn't really have really much of a choice basically to defend herself, because that's kind of like saying like with America, that's like what happened back in 9/11. The 9/11 attacks basically happened right there. America had no other choice but to defend itself. Why did America have to defend itself? Because it had no choice. It had no choice. Because if this were to basically happen again, I mean, the president of the United States, he would be at risk. And guess what? We would never have no president back then. You know, that's basically what it comes down to. That's how I feel. That's my opinion. That's what's definitely, I definitely do think. When it comes to politics and powers and greed and basically all this different kind of other stuff, it can be kind of tricky, and it can be kind of a considering basis of situations. If you take out an instance for basically of the movie, basically of the movie, if I can remember the name of the movie, it's a Bruce Willis movie. I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. Um, I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, there was this girl. She's pretty much basically the fifth element. Basically, she's the. I think it's called the fifth. I think it's called the fifth element. I think that's the name of the movie. Anyways, basically, she's basically the fifth element. It means that she's the replications of life, or I will say basically of love. That's basically what she really actually is. And she was basically going to the files of history of basically of war and basically of famine and all those different kinds of different things and stuff like that. And you could just cannot help but that she was just basically she was crying. She was very sad because what she was basically was seeing right there, it was terrible. It was awful. It really was. It was a very awful situation, and it really was. And you could just tell like how emotional broke down that she really definitely was. And basically that's basically that's what happened. I think a Gundam I think there's a Gundam series which is basically called Turning Gundam. It kind of talks about the history. That talks about the history of basically how history was repeating itself. That's the promulgation of what of history really actually definitely do. When you go to World War One, two, possibility World War Three could really could happen. But probably some people will say, "Oh, it's never going to happen." I probably will definitely will say, it definitely will probably will happen. It probably will happen. Probably in the near time future, or maybe sometime soon. The Gulf War, the Korean War, etc., etc., etc. I mean, war, it's definitely going to happen. We have war in ourselves, we have war in our minds, we have war everywhere. And that's what we have. We make war with our friends, we make war with our families, and that's what we do. And sometimes that definitely does happen. That definitely does. That's just what it feels to me. That's just my opinion. That's what I definitely do think. I definitely do think this movie does kind of show a reflection of basically of the power of greed of war and devastation and for other different things and stuff like that. And just really it just personally that just basically what it feels to me, and I want people to really to basically understand, like, I may not really understand what it means to be supposed to be out there on the front lines, having a rifle, wearing a helmet, wearing the gear, putting the boots on, and all that other stuff and stuff like that. I may not really understand really all of that. I may not, but I definitely would definitely say, I bet you those guys are really nervous. Are they going to live? Or are they going to die? Am I going to see my family or am I not? You know, I mean, we've seen this time and again, you know, and we personally definitely see that. We really definitely do. But like I said, if I go back with Lacus really as he says, can we break this cycle? Can we really basically do that? Can we really personally do that? That's the question. Nobody really doesn't know. If we cannot break the cycle, guess what? The cycle is still going to continue. It's still going to happen. It still really actually is. I think one day down the road, we would personally definitely would have world peace. It probably is going to happen. Maybe that's some people will probably say like that's impossible because in person will definitely will never happen. So nobody really does not know what's basis going to happen. Are things going to get better or things are going to get worse? That's basically what it feels to me. If you look basically in the anime or based on this movie, basically this movie, the Earth forces, the Earth Federation forces versus Zath, they both have a hatred between each other because they basically do. You have the naturals versus the coordinators. The coordinators are basically are pretty much more advanced, pretty much more advanced than naturals. Naturals are basically they're just naturals. They're just natural human beings. But when it comes to coordinators, coordinators are just basically a new different kind of species of humans, basic kind of species of humans because they have more enhanced abilities than basic naturals. Why does the naturals hate the coordinators? Because the naturals hate the coordinators because they don't like them because they think that they are more superior than coordinators. Coordinators do not like naturals. They really personally really don't. They hate them. They hate the naturals because they believe in greed, power, hungry, and they want to start war. And to be honest with you, that's basically what they really want to do. Go in the past in the past of a gun of Gundam Seed Destiny. What's his name? Lord Jabril. Lord Jabril is a very good example. The man is fueled by hatred. He hates coordinators. Oh, he really does. He really does. He is part of the Blue Cosmos, basically the Blue Cosmos, basically of that. That goes into the series of Gundam Seed series because I can't remember that other guy's name. He's a blonde-headed guy. Uh, guy is a crazy wacko man. I'm not gonna lie. He really actually is. Really actually is. But with basically with Lord Jabril is much more menacing than that guy really actually is. Personally, he really actually is. And the thing about Lord Jabril, one thing I like about Lord Jabril, he's a very good villain. He's a very good main antagonist. In a way, excuse me, he's a pretty good main antagonist. But the problem in what I see based of him and what makes him such a great main antagonist, that he is a guy that you really personally really want to hate, but he is a kind of funny kind of character that gets really pissed off and you don't want to make that man mad. And he will do whatever necessary. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. This man would spend all his money just to eliminate Zach. That's what he really wants to do. But his main goal is basically to destroy not just only Zach, but also Chairman Durandals as well too. Why would he want to do that? Because that's what he wants to do. He wants to personally kill the man. That's what he really wants to do. But he's not so brave enough to say like I'm not going to get involved because I'm not going to fight them because he just wants to stand. So he just wants to stands right behind his chair and stand in his chair, or excuse me, probably sit in his chair, drink some wine, have his cat lay on his lap, and say like I'm just gonna watch the whole world burn right before my eyes and let everyone do my dirty work for me. That's how I see Lord Jabril basically actually is. Chairman Durandal is basically is a guy is basically this guy. He doesn't like to hide. He wants to be on the front lines and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I think he's more of a pussy than Lord Jabril. That's my opinion and stuff like that. That's basically what I definitely think. But when it comes to base of this movie, it basically shows a different approach based of that. A really person definitely really does. When you have this new species called the Accords, the Accords are kind of like probably a little bit more different than basic coordinators, but they basically have different genes that can read people's thoughts, read people's minds, and interpret people's minds because that's what they can do because that's the power that they have. That's what they basically that's basically what they truly definitely do have because they go by the example of Chairman Durano. Chairman Durano is pretty much is basically the one who pretty much who started this whole gene situation of, or I would say, AKA the destiny. That's that's what that's what basically it feels to me. One thing I want to say here also, too, something very important. I definitely do think is very important to acknowledge also as well too. Love is a very it's a very good sanctification when it comes to love of something that you want, something that you really that you need, or something something that you find that you really want to satisfy, and stuff like that. Love is love can be pure. Love can be evil. Love can love can be a sin. Yes, love can be a sin. It can. A lot of people say like there's no way that love cannot be a sin. It can. It can. Love can be a sin. Love can be a sin. If you really think about it, you really think really hard about it. Oh, love is so pure. Love is so beautiful. Love is so great. But when you use love in other different situations, then you probably would definitely would understand what love really actually is. Love is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Far much more powerful than hatred really actually is. Cast hatred up to the side and say like hatred doesn't really matter. But guess what? Love matters the most. Because guess what? Love is based on the realm of hatred. It really actually is. Feel free to disagree, man, but that's just my opinion. That's what I definitely think. But seeing the basis of this movie, it does show those similarities, and it really personally that it really does. I think this movie is definitely is very good. Seeing Alfred, seeing Kira, seeing Shin, seeing Lord Mario, seeing uh, I'm quite disappointed. Uh, Ray did not really pop up in this film. He was never mentioned. I was quite shocked and surprised that he really wasn't. And also, and this other stuff. So I was just kind of like, wow, he was never mentioned. It was kind of sad. It really was. And Ray uh, was just a prodigy. Basically, was just basically kind of like basically a situation that he was forgotten. That's just basically what it is. Basically what it is. And people, I think that he said that when he dies, he probably will be forgotten, and that probably proves it. He just nothing. He's just a clone. That's all he really actually is. He told that to Shin. Why would he tell that to Shin? Because that's basically how he is. So people will probably would not remember him. People probably won't. I mean, does Shin remember him? I don't know. I really don't know. Does Alfred and Carol will probably remember? I don't know. I think Ray is a very important aspect, but based on the story of the Gundam Seed series. But I just don't seem to really understand how come he was not really mentioned in this movie, because I definitely think he's a very good asset when it comes into this movie. Basically, when it comes to this movie, and that's what I think. That's what personally what it feels to me. But I want to personally want to say here is that I definitely do think the movie is definitely is good. It's very genuine. It really actually is. And see also the main antagonist based in this movie also well too. I also want to talk about Agus also well too. Agus is based as a character. She's personally one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. I love Agus really a lot. She's very cute. She really actually is. And but I can't remember there was a video that somebody says like don't be fooled by her. She's more menacing than one that meets the eye. And to be particularly to be honest with you, I think that she's a really misunderstood person basically in anime. I definitely do think that she really actually is. But she's basically she is very beautiful. She really is. She's very cute. She's very beautiful. I love that woman really a lot. She's personally one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. I really definitely do. But she really actually is such a great character based in the freedom basically of the movie. But one thing I was quite surprised that I was very happy about that she really person that she didn't die. I was very happy and proud because that she really didn't die. I definitely do think there probably will be some very good implications for it to play her role into other different series also as well too. I am going to be making a video on her and something going to be very extremely important where sometimes I get really confused on. I'm not going to really personally going to say it basically in this video, but it's going to be something. It's going to be something I really personally want to talk about, and I think this will probably cause maybe a little bit of stir. And I really want to see if there's any answers that about her character. See, she seems like she's a kind of mysterious, basic kind of person, but she's easy to read. But I definitely do think there's some backstories that we really don't know basically about her. And I'm kind of wondering what's her backstory, and I'm also kind of wondering like what is her what is her motivations and stuff like that. But she's also kind of like a jealous type, basic kind of girl, and she likes to be old fashioned and she likes to nag and stuff like that. And she person that's just basically what she loves to do. She likes to brag, she likes to nag. That's what she really likes to do. But even though that she was also classmate with Shin, she was also classmate with Shin and also Luna Mario also as well too. Because I definitely think Luna Mario and Shin makes a pretty good relationship between each other. That's what I definitely think. But when I see Aga's space of her, I don't know why she was not really brought into Gundam Seed Destiny. I don't know why. I really don't know why she was not brought into Gundam Seed Destiny. Maybe there's a reason for that, or something like that, or maybe that she's a little bit more younger than probably Shin and Luna Maria. I really do not know. But I definitely do like Agus really a lot. I love Agus really a lot. I'm not gonna lie, she's really one of my favorites based on this anime. The girl is absolutely just cute. She really actually is. Definitely yeah, she is. Now let's talk about some of the other characters based in anime, also based in this movie. Also well too. Icarus is person also one of my favorites also well too. She's definitely is does play some a pivotal role based on this movie also as well too because she has feelings for Jamar or Jamar or whatever you want to say his name. I can't pronounce his name really right or I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. Um, he is pretty much the main antagonist based on this anime, and he's pretty much that he is. The man is jealous. The man wants everything for himself. He gets everything what he deserves, that what he wants to get. And personally, what he really wants to get, what he really wants the most is basis Lacks. Or say Lakine or whatever you personally want to pronounce her name. But I kind of personally kind of say she's basically considered as Lacus instead of just like Lakine or anything like that. I understand that her father was name was Lakine, but that's basically what her name was basically was. Now the English stuff basically in the anime is definitely very good. It's very genuine. It's very good. I definitely do love it. There are some hiccups basically in the English dub that I definitely do think that needs to be fixed. I definitely do think the subtitles were kind of just a little bit off. And it feels to me that's just basically what I definitely do think and stuff like that. The music is definitely very good. The graphics in the movie is beautiful. It's really good. I love how they use the CGI basically in the movie. Is definitely very good. I definitely do see a very good potential. Personally, basically another Gundam Seed movie could be in the works. However, there is another Gundam Seed movie that's going to basically be in the works, which is basically going to be called Gundam Seed Freedom. I think it's called Freedom 1 or 0. I think it's Freedom 1 or 0. I'm not really actually 100% for sure. But I'm also kind of curious about what happens after Gundam Seed Freedom. That's one thing I really am kind of wondering about. That's what I really want to know. I really want to know. I really am kind of wondering, like, what are going to be the offsprings of basically of Afrin's children, or basically Kira's children, or Shin's children. That's something I really definitely I definitely really want to see. I really want to see a new generation of Gundam Seed. I really definitely do really want to see that. I don't know if we definitely are going to get it. Are we going to get that really or not? But I guess we'll just have to wait and see But I'm looking forward to the new movie. I think it's called Gundam Seed Freedom Zero or One. I don't know. I think it's either one of those two. But I do think that the movie is definitely good. But the movie's not really perfect based to me. But it definitely is a very good, genuine movie. If I had to get a rating for this movie, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Personally, I definitely do like it. It's definitely worth watching. If you want to watch this movie, definitely go and watch it. You will really, really enjoy it. But if I would be honest with you guys, I will start watching season one, Gundam Seed, then watch Gundam Seed season two, and then watch the movie. But you can also watch some of the other different movies, which is basically the kind of the replay of Gundam Seed and also Gundam Seed Destiny, because they kind of change some scenarios based in there, which I'm not really too fond of the base of that. I don't like that because they kind of really takes away the lore base of the Gundam Seed franchises with that. I'm not saying I'm against it or anything like that, but that's just personally my opinion. And also as well too, the dub also as well too is definitely very good, and I happen to definitely do like it. But I really wish they will fix those a little bit of those hiccups. That's the reason why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, anyways, I definitely am gonna buy the Blu-ray of the DVD of the movie, and to be honest, personally, to be honest with you, I may have a really hard time finding the Ultra, the Mega one, but for what I looked on Amazon, it's costing me some $1,222.19 or something like that. Somewhere around $1,000, and I ain't spending that kind of money for that. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this video. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like this movie? Do you guys don't like it? What you guys overall thoughts about what I said about this movie? Do you guys think it was a good movie? Do you guys think it was a bad movie? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyways, since I know I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please hit like button, give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down, and please do a comment. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.